1999. The stage was dark, and then Kevin Levrone walked out of the shadows. He looked like a machine, shaking his arms while walking. Then he bent forward, shaking his arms. I had never seen anything like it. His shoulders, arms, and chest looked completely out of this world. It was like he came from another planet. And then he hit the most muscular pose. Kevin didn't even look human. He looked like Venom standing on that stage, standing under those lights like something out of a comic book.
Kevin's shoulders were just crazy. They almost didn't look real.
Man, Kevin had some crazy shoulders. Every time he hit that most muscular pose, those shoulders just exploded.
Hey, had the biggest shoulders in the game. You never trained shoulders.
Right?
Never trained shoulders.
Sure, I got big shoulders, baby. Yes, sir, I got big shoulders. You got those like that, baby. Come on. I'm gonna take you through a shoulder workout.
This is how Kevin Levrone built some of the craziest shoulders in bodybuilding history. Let's break down one of his legendary shoulder workout. First of all, Kevin doesn't just jump straight into the heavy weight. He takes time to warm up properly, getting his shoulder joints moving, getting blood into the muscles, and making sure everything is ready for the work ahead. Then, he hits a warm-up set of behind-the-neck presses on the Smith machine, knocking out around 10 to 12 reps. Nothing crazy yet, just getting the shoulders fired up. After that, for the first exercise, he starts with shrugs. Now it's time for the heavy work. Kevin steps into the squat rack and starts shrugging some serious weight. He starts with 3 plates on each side and bangs out about 8 reps. As Kevin says, 6 to 8 reps is his magic range.
That's the magic number, 6 to 8.
Now, most people leave traps until the end of the workout. Kevin does the opposite. He attacks them while he's fresh. This is a great way to improve a weak muscle group. When you train it first, you're fresh, your energy is high, and your focus is locked in. That allows you to push harder, use more weight, and get more out of every set. Then he starts pyramiding the weight. Next set, 4 plates aside. And watch closely. Kevin doesn't just move the weight up and down. He actually rolls his shoulders back as he shrugs. Most people need to be careful with that because it can put a lot of stress on the shoulder joints. But Kevin handles it like it's nothing. Next set, 5 plates aside. No matter how heavy the weight gets, he stays in control. No wild swinging, no bouncing. At the top, he squeezes hard, forcing as much blood as possible into the traps. Then comes the next set, 6 plates on each side. Now we're talking about around 585 pounds. This is serious weight. So now, the show begins. Here comes the shirt off. And you can see those crazy veins and massive shoulders just popping out. The gym goes completely quiet. People stop mid-set and just stare. More and more eyes lock onto him. Look at this guy. Everyone in the gym is watching him. So now, here's a variation for barbell shrugs. You can also do them with dumbbells. Dumbbell shrugs give you a better range of motion, a deeper stretch, and they help fix any left to right strength imbalances. But with barbells, you can handle heavier loads, which is key for raw strength and mass. Each has its pros and cons, so I'd say it's best to mix them up.
Notice how he's squeezing at the top of each rep. Give him that really squeeze it and feel that muscle work.
Yeah, you get a better stretch when you just bring it all the way down.
All right.
And that allows you to bring a better contraction. That's good. And this is the exercise when you hit the most muscular. Boom, they pop out of nowhere, right in here.
And, as you see, Kevin still rolls his shoulders back on these, really focusing on that squeeze at the top.
Yep, they come up like this.
Okay.
And also when I come up, I like to roll it.
Yeah, fix the illusion anyways. We all know.
Size not everything when it comes to competition.
Broad shoulders and a tight waist. That's the look we're all chasing on stage.
We all know that some serious shoulders, that's like the stature of a man. You have to have those broad shoulders. And I remember in the ancient Roman, Greek times and stuff, they always measured a man's strength by his broadness of his shoulder.
A lot of people always ask me how to get my shoulders this big or what I do for shoulders. A lot of it's genetics, but more so than anything else, it takes concentration and dedication to build a complete package. And shoulders always been something that I really enjoy training.
Now Kevin moves on to the next exercise, behind the neck presses on the Smith machine.
I love behind the neck press. And I love this position because behind the necks,
This always hits all three heads of the shoulders, you know? Fronts, the sides, and the rear.
This is it, man. This is the master blaster for shoulders.
These days, this is a pretty neglected exercise. A lot of people avoid it because of the stress it can put on the shoulder joints and rotator cuff. But for Kevin, that was never an excuse.
they say, hey man, be careful. Well, that's why we have the Smith machine, because this is a balanced machine. And you're not going to go like this or like this to like rip out a rotator cuff.
He isn't starting light. Kevin sets up a bench inside the Smith machine, locks his back against the pad, grabs the bar around shoulder width, and starts with 3 plates on each side. No joke. Then he starts pressing. 8 controlled reps. No bouncing, no cheating. Just quality reps with serious weight. For Kevin, this was the foundation of his delt development. This exercise hits all 3 heads of the shoulders at the same time. Then the weight goes up. For the second set, Kevin adds another plate to each side. Now he's pressing 4 plates aside, around 360 pounds. And this is where things start getting ugly. Lower. Every rep gets harder. He's digging deep and pushing right to failure. You can see it in the face. After that heaviest set, he moves right into some poses. He does this to really force even more blood into the shoulders and crank that pump up even more. Then, he finishes things off with 2 brutal drop sets. After reaching failure with the heavy weight, he strips a plate off each side and keeps pressing. Then, he strips another plate and goes again.
The bodybuilder, Maryland Muscle Machine, Kevin Levrone, that's a character that I created. Through all the agony and pain and suffering that I went through. People want what you have, but they don't want to endure the suffering. And I always say, let's talk about that part.
Now, you don't have to do behind the neck presses if they don't feel comfortable for your shoulders. A great alternative is the Smith machine shoulder press. Instead of bringing the bar down behind your head, you lower it in front of your face toward the upper chest.
You want to bring this right down to the base of your chest and straight up.
This requires less shoulder mobility and is usually much more comfortable for most people. The movement still does a great job of building size and strength in the delts.
We're hitting the frontal head of the deltoid.
For overall mass.
But with less stress on the shoulder joints. That's why a lot of lifters prefer this version, especially if they have tight shoulders or a history of shoulder problems. You still get a heavy pressing movement for the shoulders, but with a lower risk of injury. For most people, it's the safer and more practical option. Another great variation is the dumbbell shoulder press. A lot of people actually find this movement more natural because you're using free weights instead of being locked into a fixed path. This works all three heads of the delts while allowing a more natural range of motion. With dumbbells, each arm moves independently, so you can adjust the angle and find a pressing path that feels comfortable for your shoulders. You still get a heavy pressing movement, but your shoulders are free to move the way they naturally want to move. Another big advantage is that dumbbells expose weaknesses. One arm can't help the other. Each shoulder has to do its own work, which makes dumbbell presses excellent for correcting muscle imbalances and building more balanced shoulder development.
Nobody got shoulders.
I got big shoulders, baby. Yes, sir, I got big shoulders.
You got delts like that, baby. Come on. Trainer. Come on, Kevin.
Now let's move on to the third exercise, dumbbell front raises. This is a great movement for targeting the front part of the shoulders, also known as the anterior delts.
Bring the weight up. You don't really have to worry about flexing or squeezing because the feel of the weight gives you the negatives on the way down.
And notice something here. Kevin isn't trying to throw around crazy weight because this is an isolation exercise. The goal isn't to impress people with heavy dumbbells. The goal is to isolate that front delt and make it do all the work.
I always like to flex before I do this. We're hitting the anterior head or the frontal portion of the deltoid. Notice how strict Kevin does this movement. You don't have to go up very high. You don't go much more than beyond parallel. That's it, Kevin. You can either do it one arm at a time or both arms at a time. Either way, you're isolating that frontal head of the deltoid.
So Kevin grabs a moderate weight that he can fully control. No swinging, no using momentum, just clean, controlled reps from start to finish.
We're doing 10 to 12 reps on this exercise.
You can tell he's focused on feeling the muscle work rather than just moving the weight. And watch what he does at the top of the movement. He slightly turns the dumbbell inward, really trying to squeeze that front delt as hard as possible. The front delt isn't a huge muscle, so you don't need massive weights to make it grow. In fact, going too heavy usually takes the tension away from the muscle and turns the exercise into a swinging contest.
But all I can say is that just train him hard and train him heavy.
Kevin keeps the weight under control, focuses on the contraction, and lets the muscle do the work. Sometimes the best shoulder builders aren't the heaviest exercises. They're the ones where you can feel every single rep. Next up, the fourth and final exercise. He never forgot about rear delts. A lot of people focus on the front and side delts and completely neglect the rear delts. But if you want those round, 3D looking shoulders, you have to develop all three heads of the shoulder. That's exactly why Kevin finishes with this movement. Reverse pec deck flies.
For me, it's a finishing exercise. Doesn't require a lot of detail, but you always want to do it in a controlled fashion.
He sits down on the pec deck machine, grabs the handles with a reverse grip, and gets to work. Once you're locked into position, the rear delts have to do all the work. The goal now is to flood the muscle with blood and finish the workout with a massive pump. He's doing high reps, around 20 reps per set, keeping the weight moving, rep after rep. The rear delts are under constant tension. The rear delts are a relatively small muscle, so there is no need to throw around crazy weight. What matters is control, feeling the muscle work, and squeezing hard on every single rep. He's focused on contracting the rear delts and keeping tension on them from start to finish. He does 2 solid sets like this, pumping as much blood as possible into the rear delts before wrapping up the workout. Because at the end of the day, those rear delts are what help create that complete shoulder look. When you see a physique from the side or from the back, that's where the 3D effect really comes.
When do you see the rear delt?
In the back double bicep.
In the back double bicep.
Kevin only did 4 exercises in this shoulder workout, but there are a few other shoulder builders that are definitely worth mentioning. And one exercise you should never overlook is the side lateral raise.
This works another portion of the deltoid, the side lateral head. That's what gives you that nice broad shouldered look.
You know what, Bert? A lot different in person. You know, I see him in the magazines. I don't notice him on stage as much. But looking at this right here, it's very impressive.
He's got tremendous deltoid. That's it.
If you want those wide, round shoulders that stand out in a tank top, this is one of the best exercises you can do. The side lateral raise targets the side delts directly, which are responsible for giving your shoulders that broad, capped look.
Side lateral raise, what it does is pretty much hit the outer head of the shoulders, give you that round, taper look to your shoulders. More, it's like a complete look.
When you're on stage in a bodybuilding contest, it's nice to have that shoulder width. You want width? This is the exercise that's going to get it for you.
A lot of people focus on pressing movements, but it's often the side delts that create the illusion of width and make a physique look bigger from the front. You don't need crazy weight, just controlled reps, constant tension, and a hard squeeze at the top. Those side delts are what make the shoulders look wider, especially when you hit a most muscular pose. When Kevin hit that most muscular pose, those side delts looked like a total monster. They just blew up, making his whole upper body look huge, like a beast. Next exercise, bent cable rear delt flies. This is a great isolation exercise for the rear delts. Keep a slight bend in your elbows and pull the cables out wide and back until your hands are about shoulder level. At the top of the movement, squeeze the rear delts as hard as you can. Then slowly bring the weight back under control and repeat. One important thing here, don't think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Instead, focus on pulling the handles wide apart. That keeps the tension on the rear delts instead of letting the upper back take over.
This one's for you, baby. This one's for you.
And you can do the same exercise with dumbbells. It feels more natural because the weights move freely. Each arm works on its own, so you can hit the muscle the way your body naturally wants to move.
That's it. It's the end of the shoulder workout. That's it, man.